Today should be a happy day. They treat my bike like garbage every time it's there. But, oh, am I pissed off. Look at this. You're literally a dealership. You're the place that I bought the bike from. I paid $20,000 for that bike. Every time I go for tires, they chip the powder coating on my rims. Whatever they did to my bike while it was here, every time I go for anything, they drain my battery out. What I brought the bike in for was a warranty issue. I started it one morning, and it was just spitting out white smoke. They're telling me the warranty covered the repair, but what it didn't cover was to replace the oil they had to drain in order to make the repair. That doesn't make any sense at all to me whatsoever. It kind of does make sense. They're trying to rip me off. They did something to my key fob. 16,370 miles. They're telling me that I am not entitled to the oil change on 16,000 mile service that I paid for. But that's not the worst part. Today should be a happy day. I'm picking up the R1 after about a month not having it. But, oh, am I pissed off. And we'll talk about that now. Full disclosure, the bike wasn't exactly spotless when I dropped it off, but it damn sure didn't look like this. So, ridiculous. But that's not the worst part. Oh yeah. They did something to my key fob, and now I gotta sit here and press the damn button every time I want the bike to start. Fix that when I get home. Didn't leave it like that. Left it on auto. What's the point of having a key fob if you have to pull it out, pause, every time you want to start your bike? 16,370 miles. That is very significant, and I'll explain that in just a minute. I was due for my 16,000 mile service. My services are prepaid, not free, prepaid. In other words, when I bought the bike, I paid in advance for a certain amount of oil changes. And I still had 2 left. But nobody told me there was a time limit on them. Even though they were paid for in advance, if I don't use them in 3 years, I lose them. 3 years just ran out. So now they're telling me that I am not entitled to the oil change on 16,000 mile service that I paid for. If that's not bad enough, what I brought the bike in for was a warranty issue. It was burning oil. I started it one morning, and it was just spitting out white smoke. Now I paid for a 7-year warranty on this bike, just for situations like this. This way, I take care of the bike. If anything happens, I don't want to have to pay for it. These bikes are very expensive to repair. So now they're telling me the warranty covered the repair, but what it didn't cover was to replace the oil they had to drain in order to make the repair. That doesn't make any sense at all to me whatsoever. I mean, it kind of does make sense, but only if you look at it from a standpoint of they're trying to rip me off. So think about it like this. And if anybody in the comments can tell me something more logical, I'd appreciate it. But this is what I'm thinking right now. They wanted to charge me for that oil change. Since they knew I was bringing it in for an oil change in addition to whatever warranty issues there were, and that I was no longer covered by the prepaid services, They're like, nah. This guy is not about to get a free oil change just because the repair covered under the warranty required us to drain the oil. So let's lie to the guy and tell him that the warranty does not cover the oil replacement and that he has to pay for it himself. Now, it gets even better than that. Anybody that's ever done an oil change, you're gonna laugh. So I asked the guy, I was having a friend drive me up to pick up the bike. And I didn't want to waste my friend's time. So I would have preferred to pay them to put the oil in it. So this way I didn't have to make my friend wait or drive me to go pick up oil on the way or anything else like that. So I called him up before I left and I asked him, all right, just out of curiosity, don't do an oil change, but what would you charge me just to fill up the oil that's missing? The answer, $50 plus the oil. So that 50 wasn't for the oil. That 50 was for the labor to pour 4 quarts of oil into the bike, which for a dealer is even easier because you know they have it in a big barrel. And a pump that just pumps the oil in. They didn't even have to sit there opening bottles and pouring them in. No, 2 minutes. It only took me 2 minutes. And I had to open the bottles, pull out the funnel and all that stuff. This guy would have just bloop, put the nozzle in, filled it up, call it a day. You want to charge me $50 for that. After you just did a repair on my bike, that was over $1,000. That I didn't have to pay for, Yamaha paid for, but either way, you just made a nice chunk of change repairing my bike. And during the course of that repair, you drained the oil. I didn't give it to you in the oil, I gave it to you with the oil. If anything, you should have drained the oil and saved it and put the dirty oil back on my bike. That would have been a little bit more reasonable. But you're just gonna drain it out, leave it empty, and then expect me to be responsible for it? Like, I gotta pick up the bike, I gotta bring oil with me to fill it up? That's crazy. And then on top of that, they treat my bike like garbage every time it's there. So, every time I go for tires, they chip the powder coating on my rims. Every time I go for anything, they drain my battery out because I don't have a key. I switched it out for a keyless ignition. And what happens is they flip the bike on with the run stop switch and then they don't bother to turn it back off. Now I understand that they're used to dealing with bikes with keys. But at the same time, you're literally a dealership. You're the place that I bought the bike from. I paid $20,000 for that bike. The MSRP is only $17,500, but when you buy a bike from a dealer, you're not paying the MSRP. You gotta pay them all types of fees, taxes, title, put the bike together fee, all of this. So the bike cost me $20,000. You're the people I bought the bike from. You can't figure out how to shut it off after you check the mileage. You gotta destroy my battery. And last time that happened was in July, and the battery was no good. I had to go and buy a new battery because they were fighting me tooth and nail, acting like they didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't their fault. The battery just so happened to be, you know, going bad at the time I dropped off the bike. Come on, man. The sucker born every minute, but it's not me. I know you got me. I'm only gonna argue so much before I turn around and just buy the battery I need so this way I can ride my bike that I paid $20,000 for, but I know you got me. So I will no longer be going back to this dealership anymore. If you're curious, the dealership is called Broward Motorsports of Fort Lauderdale on Sunrise Boulevard. Now, I'm not happy. That doesn't mean that I have anything negative to say about the dealer itself. Everything I'm saying is just an assumption on what's going on behind the scenes when they have have my bike. I just know that every time I bring my bike there, I am not happy. And I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm gonna have to find another place to go to. Funny thing is though, the reason that I only ever went to that place since 2015 that I moved down here, I had an issue with my Ninja, the Kawasaki ZX6R that I had when I moved there. And I brought it to them, having no idea that I was still under warranty, and having no idea that an out-of-state dealership would be able to cover it. I bought the bike in New York. But they fixed my problem for free, and they did a good job. And I was so thankful that that's the only place I ever went to again. Anytime I needed a repair, when I bought my Grom, when I bought my R1, eventually when I go buy my wife a bike, when she gets here, we were gonna buy it from there. I'm a creature of habit. I go to the same place every time, no matter what it is that I'm buying. I just feel comfortable that way. I go to the same gas station, I go to the same corner store, I go to the same 7-Eleven. I go everywhere I go, the people know me, because I only go there. Now I gotta find a new bike dealer. That's gonna suck.
Ay, Douglas Antonio,